From a young aristocrat to the ruler of the Roman world, this is the story of how Julius Caesar became Rome's most powerful man. Rome in the 1st century BCE was a republic in crisis. Corruption, political violence, and power struggles between ambitious generals had thrown the state into chaos. The Senate, once the heart of Roman democracy, was now a battleground for elite factions, each vying for control. In this unstable world, Julius Caesar rose faster than anyone expected. Through military genius, strategic alliances, and sheer ambition, he transformed himself from a young politician into the most feared and respected leader in Rome. But how did he do it? What key moments and bold decisions set him apart from his rivals? And how did his unstoppable rise lead to both his greatest triumph and his downfall? This is the story of Caesar's path to ultimate power. Julius Caesar was born in 100 BCE into the Julii family, an ancient but politically weak patrician lineage. Though his family claimed descent from Venus, they lacked real power, and Caesar was determined to change that. His first challenge came early. His uncle Gaius Marius was a powerful general who led Rome's populous faction. But when Lucius Cornelius Sulla seized power in a brutal civil war, Marius's allies, including Caesar, were targeted for execution. Refusing to submit, Caesar fled Rome and went into hiding. After Sulla's death, he returned to Rome, using charisma and calculated risks to climb the political ladder. He built a reputation as a brilliant orator, ruthless strategist, and champion of the common people. But Caesar knew that political success alone wasn't enough. Real power in Rome came from military victories. To achieve greatness, he needed a war, and soon he would find one. Returning to Rome, Caesar wasted no time building his influence. He became a military tribune, then a senator, using bribery, alliances, and populist policies to win the favor of the people. His charisma and ambition made him a rising star, but also a growing threat to Rome's elite. In 60 BCE, Caesar made a bold move. He formed the First Triumvirate, a secret alliance with Pompey the Great, Rome's most powerful general, and Crassus, the richest man in Rome. This three-man power bloc controlled Roman politics and ensured Caesar's election as consul in 59 BCE. As consul, he pushed radical reforms, redistributing land to the poor and strengthening his military command. But the Senate hated him, fearing he was becoming too powerful. His enemies planned to strip him of influence, so Caesar made his next move. He secured a governorship in Gaul, a land filled with riches and war. If he wanted to dominate Rome, he needed a legendary military campaign, and in Gaul he would find it. In 58 BCE, Caesar launched his campaign in Gaul, a vast warlike land that had resisted Roman control for centuries. His goal? Conquer it, plunder its riches, and forge an unstoppable army loyal to him alone. For nearly a decade, Caesar waged brutal war against the fierce Gallic tribes, using military innovation, deception, and sheer ruthlessness. He crushed the Helvetii, defeated the Germanic king Ariovistus, and annihilated the Belgae in northern Gaul. Each victory increased his power, wealth, and reputation. But his greatest challenge came in 52 BCE, when a Gallic leader named Vercingetorix united the tribes in a massive rebellion. The war climaxed at the Siege of Alesia, where Caesar, outnumbered, surrounded the enemy and built a double wall of fortifications, defeating the Gallic army in a legendary battle. By 50 BCE, Gaul was fully under Roman control, and Caesar had become the most powerful general in the Republic. But back in Rome, his enemies were plotting against him. The Senate, led by Pompey, ordered him to disband his army. Caesar now faced a choice: submit and lose everything, or seize power by force. With Rome under his control, Caesar's next challenge was to eliminate Pompey and the Senate's loyalist forces. Though he had taken the capital, his enemies were regrouping across the Republic. To truly rule Rome, he needed to win the war. In 48 BCE, Caesar pursued Pompey to Greece, where their armies met at the Battle of Pharsalus. Caesar's outnumbered forces used superior tactics to lure Pompey into a trap, crushing his army. Pompey fled to Egypt, seeking asylum, but upon arrival, Pharaoh Ptolemy XIII betrayed and assassinated him, hoping to win Caesar's favor. But the plan backfired. Caesar was furious. He wanted to defeat Pompey himself, not see him murdered. He remained in Egypt, aligning himself with Cleopatra, supporting her claim to the throne in the Alexandrian War. Their alliance, both political and personal, secured Egypt as a loyal client state of Rome. Over the next few years, Caesar hunted down the last Pompeian loyalists, defeating them in North Africa, Battle of Thapsus, 46 BCE, and Spain, Battle of Munda, 45 BCE. With his enemies wiped out, he returned to Rome as the unchallenged ruler of the Republic. In 44 BCE, the Senate declared him dictator for life. He introduced massive reforms, including debt relief, a new calendar, the Julian calendar, and citizenship expansions. But his growing power and arrogance alarmed Rome's elite. To them, he was no longer a leader. He was a king in all but name, and Rome had always hated kings. Caesar had won every battle, but his final enemy would come from within the Senate itself. Julius Caesar's rise to power was one of the most dramatic in history. Through brilliant military conquests, strategic alliances, and ruthless ambition, he became the most powerful man in Rome. But his dominance made him too dangerous to live. Just months after being declared dictator for life, he was assassinated on the Ides of March, 44 BCE, a moment that would lead to the fall of the Republic and the birth of the Roman Empire. Want to see how Rome's story continued? Watch our deep dives into the Punic Wars, the rise and fall of the Roman Empire, and how the Roman Empire fell, secrets of its collapse. Subscribe for more history, and we'll see you in the next one.